the book of Isaiah chapter 19, going straight to the point, verse 15, and it reads, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Hakodash. I want to say double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Say peace and salutation to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faithfulness and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. Brother Yahweh, coming next with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. By Hashem, by His in, Hashem His name. Yahushai meaning He saves, or He deliverer. True names of the Most High God and His Son. These people ignorantly call God in Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by this article that I just saw on my Newsbreak app. And it reads, major pharmacy chain closes all locations nationwide. Once a staple alongside CVS and Walgreens, a national pharmacy chain is no more. Rite Aid has officially closed all its locations nationwide. All Rite Aid stores have now closed. We thank our local supporters, our local customers, for their many years of support, the announcement said. The website also has information for former customers on requesting prescriptions and immunization records, and a link that allows people to search for a new pharmacy. The closure marks a dramatic turn in the final chapter of the once iconic chain. In 2022, Rite Aid operated 2,451 stores. By September 2nd, 2025, only 89 stores were still open, and those have since closed. The final stores located in Washington and Oregon closed September 29th. The Spirit, that's a Spirit too, because where I post up at, where I camp, it was formerly a Rite Aid, so it was the spiritual near there, and it was open when I first went over there. Oh, it's deep, and it's just pretty much a sign of the time. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on right now. Call Elohim La Yahweh. He answered the prayer, because I said I hope he shut this shit down, and I don't think it's gonna open back up. You know, it's something different about this. You know, typically when a government shuts down, because they've had government shut down in the past, you know, the workers are usually just furloughed. But now they're saying pretty much when the funds run out, those people lose their jobs. And again, you already got all these people not working. So in my mind, I'm thinking they got that, you know, the National Guard going to be patrolling all these different cities, because they said a quick response. He wanted a certain amount of members to do a quick response, because when all these people losing jobs, people going to feel some kind of way. So it's about to be a lot of protests, a lot of violence, a lot of people about to be up in arms. And they know that shit. So the cruel Lord, DJ Trump, you know, this devil is desperately wicked. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, and it's diabolical how they did it. It really is and it's not. You know, you just got to look at it like being truly, extremely grateful that the Lord dealing with you, that you can see this. Because you got people, I was talking to a guy, because I had got, a little haircut or whatever. I was talking to the barber. Oh, I miss talking to brothers. You know, because we had a brother that cut our hair. But anyhow, this dude, I would conversate with him. This dude had no clue what the fuck going on. You know, like I told them, like, I don't get lineups, so they understand that there's a spiritual significance to it. But I'm like, yeah, the Bible tell you not to do that. But we talking, and he like, what you think about the government shutdown and this and that and that and this? And he's sitting up there like, well, they wouldn't did that with Obama in office, so you thinking Obama was for you? That's how I know. I'm like, you know, again, and I already don't really deal with a lot of people, so it's already like, it's like, trust me, you don't miss them till they gone. You know what I'm talking about? Like at least, because brothers be so well rounded. Brothers have, like, even the dude said, it just so happened a guy from Chicago was in there. It's funny. I found it funny. I was like, yeah, that's the Spirit. And he was like, the guy from Chicago, because I was telling him, like, with the Charlie Kirk situation, I'm like, right after that, they found Jake hanging. And the dude from Chicago was like, yeah. He was like, this dude, if you talk about anything in the streets, he gonna be able to converse with you, but anything of intelligence, and he ain't gonna know how to deal. And I was like, damn, he shitted on him right in his face. But that's most of Jake. Jake don't put the time and energy into checking out nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that shit gonna be detrimental to they Listen, this government shutdown about to fuck people up. You know what I mean? Real talk. You know, don't get me wrong. You gonna still have people, but a lot of people about to be hurting, man. And that's why the scriptures talk about in 2 Timothy chapter 3, in the last days, perilous times shall come. It said, founded in Pennsylvania in 1962, Rite Aid was once the third largest drugstore chain in the U.S. It first filed for bankruptcy in October 2023 due to high debt, declining avenue. And then how you go in debt with something like that when the majority of prescriptions and this Medicaid and Medicare and so how do you go broke? Was once the third largest. It says it first filed for bankruptcy in October 2023 due to high debt, declining revenue, and ongoing costs related to opioid litigation. The chain later settled the opioid lawsuit for The chain later settled the opioid lawsuit for $410 million to resolve allegations it violated controlled substance regulations. Hey, that is always some corruptionists in Babylon the Great, right? Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy a second time in May 2025 and liquidated all assets. CVS remains the largest brick and mortar pharmacy chain with 9,026 locations. That's followed by Walgreens with 8,099. Healthmark at 4,275. So, the point of the lesson is that's a lot of people is about to be out of work. You got the government about to basically fire hundreds of thousands of people. So we are in some amazing times, and this is all the judgment of the Lord. Ultimately, because the scriptures talk about a famine of bread. And not only is a famine of bread of a lack of food, or a lack of the ability to get to food. They got places called food deserts, but it's also your ability to buy food. It's the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1, and it reads, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, and thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, while this understanding is out here still. Why you still you don't have because the scriptures talk about not only a famine of the bread, but a famine of hearing the word. This is your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to understand what's going on and why these things are taking place. Again, people are lost in the sauce. Dude literally was like a little kid. He like, oh, what you think about that? Because he trying to figure out, obviously spirit ain't on him to be into. Again, and then he talking about, he more so of that African. We African, we can do what we can. Then he was talking about like how Jake ain't going for it, which that's the spirit. Because the Lord gonna put a spirit on Jake to rebel. Scriptures talk about who gonna rouse up that old lion. And these tactics that the devil doing, like this so happened the dude was telling me that's building in Chicago that they ran up in. He said that's the neighborhood he was from. Because the brother, it's so spiritual because the elder brother did a video about them running up in that building, and then I see a dude from Chicago, for the first time meet a dude from Chicago, and he like, yeah, it was crazy, but it was all spiritual too. And then, I'm sitting there, and typically when I go into this barber college, because I'm tired. I pay the brother what he wanted, but I ain't going to these barbers wanting $50 and I don't even get lineups. You know what I mean? They want $50. You know what I'm saying? I said, damn, it's been a very long time since I've been to go get my a haircut from a real barber. You talking about they charging $50? Fuck out of here. And the dude that cut my hair is pretty decent. He pretty good. I had two decent. I go in there, I find somebody that could cut. You know what I mean? Because if you could cut and you ain't even putting up a line up, you a bad man. But Salakia, I'm all over the place. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. And the grinders represent the jobs. Because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And trust me, I just lost a job recently. And it took me a minute to get a job. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like, I guess they out there still, because I'm seeing the Lord do certain things. The same day I started this job, I had got a call from the other job, but I was like, I'm gonna just deal with this for now. Try to get that stigma away from me. This lady weird, what I mean? Probably doing some some witchcraft, some juju. It was just weird with this lady. But anyhow, if the Lord ain't with you, you probably out here fucked up. And like they said, it's a lot of people not even looking for a job. But when the government is the most major contractor in the world, right? So if they getting rid of people, what do you think is about to take place? Evil and only evil. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, lack of jobs. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, those that get up early, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And we constantly go into how terrible the music is, So, we keeping up with what's going on as far as the prophecies by, these different things. Like, again, music is at an all-time low. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I might catch a song here and there that I could, like, jig with, but at the same time, for the most part, a lot of shit. Like, the guy, NBA Youngboy. Like, have you ever really just listened to this nigga? Like, that nigga got demonic spiritual power. You ever say, what was that? I think that was Walking Dead. That one dude was a country singer. And basically, the way he sung made the zombies move or something like that. I remember it was the ones that wanted to be like the zombies. You had Alpha and Beta. And the dude was named Beta. But he was a big, gigantic dude. He was like her enforcer. And ultimately, I think, what's his name? Damn, I could never remember his name. Daryl. That's the spirit. Call William like y'all, but shot. Daryl ended up killing him. Because they both was like Hicks. Daryl was like a redneck country boy. And then that dude was a country singer. But again, when I think of NBA Youngboy, I be like, because his fan, you see when the one fan beat the old man up. I'm talking about he literally just singing like that Travis Scott shit, singing and motherfucking demons just jump on motherfuckers. That's why they got his ass out of the jail. Nigga, we need you to keep on, we need you to keep on corrupting people. So I'm gonna read this. It says in the King James Version of the Bible, the phrase "break the staff of bread" appears in Ezekiel 4:16, Ezekiel 5:16, Ezekiel 14 and 13, and Leviticus 26 and 26, and signifies the Most High cutting off people's supply of food, leading to famine and severe food scarcity. This action represents a powerful judgment from the Most High, bringing about a time when bread would be scarce, rationed by weight, and insufficient to satisfy the people's hunger. And again, they're putting in place all these different things, is the Lord ultimately working, like Isaiah chapter 119 and 129 talks about, because they have made void thy law. So the Lord is, putting all these things in place for the judgment. A lot of people, man, people don't even understand how significant it is. I seen everybody do a video about the government shutdown. I have yet to do one. I probably will though, because it's going to affect you regardless. You may be working, but then the niggas around you might not be working. So now you got to be circumspect like the scriptures say. So don't be walking around with your head in the clouds or in the fucking phone or nothing. You better be circumspect. You better have that spider sense tingling. It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 7, and I'm going to get straight to the point. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall power and evil, and only evil behold is come. And end is come, the end is come, and watching for thee, behold, it is come. So again, evil is a compound word, eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. So we in bad times. And again, I don't, like the beloved elder apostle said, he don't see them coming to agreement because it's all by design. You gotta remember, these people still gonna get paid although the government shut down. Right now they paying out benefits, but when the benefits are exhausted, the state more than likely is not gonna pick that shit up. The federal government is the one that gives you the money for these programs. So right now they're paying for food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, Section 8. But when that shit run out, what you gonna do? And like the elder kept on saying, he was in the spirit, 2026. And I find it funny that it's 26. Because it's just something spiritual about that number for, that's an 8 too. New beginnings, baby. New beginnings, baby. Call Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But the elder was in the spirit of saying he see 2026 being a significant year. And look at what all happened in 2025. So just imagine, 2025, that's a 7. 7 means completion, right? This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 5. And it's ultimately all based and it's all because of the Lord judging the people. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 8. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua power. Behold, I am against thee and will execute judgment in the midst of thee in the sight of all the nations. So the Lord going to judge 2/3 of the nation in front of the other nations. And I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more the like because of all thine abominations. So just like Jacob's trouble was like a time like never before, well, what the Lord about to do to these 2/3 and the heathen is going to be, man, I can imagine the judgments. Because the Lord is a terrible power, man. The king of terrors. Keep that in mind. And he spared Job, but Job called him the king of terrors. The beloved elder apostle would go into, that I forgot, I don't even have the page anymore, but he would go look at some of the horrific judgments the Lord would do to people. Like that one lady that was, I think she was a Hamite, but she had a child that had like an overly large head, and all he did was cry. And she had to carry him around like he was an infant, but he was a big ass kid. I know that was driving her fucking crazy. Just imagine that. That'll drive you fucking crazy. She probably, man, listen. Verse 10, therefore the fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds. And that took place because of our disobedience to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's going to come again. Because when he said, I met a bitch said she'll eat a human being. And I'm like, bitch, that's crazy. She said she gonna eat, she said she'll eat shit. And I'm like, damn, what type of bitch is mama around? You know what I'm saying? Like, I said, bitch, is you a demon? I said, first of all, do you know you can't eat waste? You'll die. But she was like Alex Jones. She had to be a heathen. It's only a heathen to say some shit like that. But the Lord judged Israel like that. Like Israel ate people, I forgot where exactly is that, but you got to remember when the king had the account where you had the 2 women conspire and they made the deal they was going to eat each other's children. The one lady gave up her child, but then when it was time to eat the other one, she hid her child. Niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? That's some shit a nigga do. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they Jake. But just imagine you eating your child. I saw a movie where the dude basically he had a huge family and it was taking a toll on him, so he sold one child into slavery. And this was like Moabites. That's a hell of a thing that's probably been in the back of his mind. And the way he broke it down, he's like, man, I can't afford to feed everybody. He was like, I had to give up one. And you could tell it was weighing on him. So, again, I don't really envy the fact of being the head or being in charge. I used to tell Jake that. Like, you really think it's much shit I got going on? The Lord knows exactly what he's doing. I never say I can do it better. I might have put more attention into certain things and whatnot, but, no, hell no. I don't even want that. Now, ultimately, it's the will of the Lord, you know what I mean? Like, I know Jake, I'll never forget Jake said, oh, man, he didn't want it. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't want that. But then he manned up and he took it, though. Because he recognized the will of the Lord. So at the end of the day, may the Lord be with that brother. Verse 11, wherefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua power, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things. It's a detestable thing for you to call on the name of Jesus in front of, you know what I mean? It's a detestable thing for a man to be with a man or a woman to be with a woman. The things that the 2/3 of the nation of Israel do, Do you not know? Like the scriptures talk about like a smoke in like a smoke in the Lord's nostrils. You ever seen a bull where it blow out the smoke? Imagine that. That's how the Lord feeling, just angry, about to see red, or seeing red, and you about to see red because the scriptures talk about blood to the horse's bridle. And with all thine abominations, therefore will I also diminish thee. Neither shall mine eyes spare, neither will I have any pity. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence, and with famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about thee. And I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. Verse 13, thus shall my anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. The Lord said, after I do this, I'm going to be comforted. And they shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, have spoken it in my zeal when I have accomplished my fury in them. Verse 14, moreover, I will make thee waste and a reproach among the nations that are round about thee in the sight of all that pass by. And that's how you know who Jake is. You know who Israel is, because we looked at on a low level. Even from our women, you know what I mean? Like, I got a female, I'm not even fucking this broad, and this bitch trying to argue with me. And I was like, bitch, you miserable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at him like, I see why you ain't got no man. There ain't no real man gonna deal with this bitch. You know, these women in their mind, they think they more powerful. That's why I always say I can't wait till this shit jump off. And bitch, be that strong nigga that you think you been when laws was in place. When the laws ain't in place, be that strong bitch still. Because I'm walking past bitches. The only females I'm concerned about is my Banatium. Or Banat Yum Ya. My Banatium. My Banat Yum Ya. Well, the Ya is my. So Banat Yum Ya. My children. Like, and I got a female friend, you know, I don't want to be with her, but she come through in the clutch. The Lord got her here. She even said that. You know, I done did all kind of crazy shit. You know what I mean? And the brother used to always say that. He said, the one that cares less in the relationship is the one that hold the power. And that's the truth. I saw the video that the elder did. He was talking about Jake looked like a fucking fool holding on to that cart. But the thing is that earlier that day, I made a statement. And I was like, damn. You know, you ever had a bitch do something to you that made your brain crack? That you, bitch, I mean to say, bitch, Salaki. A female made your brain crack where you see red, you about to, yeah, your skull crack, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that what that dude did. So, like I said again, that dude, it's her dumb ass probably still try and play with him and use him. You know, I remember it was an episode of, I think, Judge Judy. And she used to have a particular bailiff on there, and it was a Jake that was being like going to court over like something with his woman, and he was married to the woman, and pretty much the bailiff had this certain look on his face, and pretty much dude was like, you could tell that she was like, I think the judge was like, he's married, and he was like, but you could tell he's not happily married, and then he made everybody in the courtroom laugh, right? He made everybody in the courtroom laugh. And he even laughed. The bailiff laughed, like, you know, a little smile or whatever. Dude that made the joke, he up there just smiling, but you know, you could tell he a comedian or whatnot. You know, you got dudes from the streets of hood. You know, everybody knows somebody that's a regular person, but and still got the, you know, sense of humor. You know, silly. But they showed that same clip, and then they showed years later, and he had killed his wife. So dude was such a prophet. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, that nigga ain't happy. That's why I say I'd rather be by myself, man. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna be miserable, I'll be miserable by myself. It ain't like, I don't even really want to get to know you like that. You know, now don't get me wrong. The Lord, if the Lord is got it destined, or is like the Lord will of the Lord, it's gonna be like that. But for the most part, I don't want to play no chess with no female, none of that shit. Like, it keep you sharp, I guess, but nah. You know, I catch a lot of hell dealing with women. You know, just to maintain that shit is a whole battle in itself. So why the fuck, I mean, you know, even the elder said it. He said, I agree with him. I don't need no woman. I need something that the woman got here and there. And you really don't even need that. Certain men so stoic, they like, we'll wait to the kingdom. With all this shit going around, and you know what I mean? You look at a bitch too long and you might catch a disease. Where am I at? I think I read 14. Verse 15. So it shall be a reproach and a taunt and instructions and astonishment unto the nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgments in thee in anger and in fury, and in furious rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken it. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which is about to come. You know, brother posted up pictures of how much the food prices go. Now, well, I don't know where he was at. That shit was like $80 for steaks for 2 of them bitches. But like say, I mean, I seen like ribs and certain shit. You know, everything goes up every year. It's the cost of living. But the difference now is that's how you know this shit is over with. And it's so spiritual how everything, and then the elder bringing out the fact of all kingdoms pretty much fall after 250 years. And 250 years is next year. Call Lloyd Blah y'all, but you outside. Pray that the Lord with you, man. I mean, you know, again, we all get low in the spirit. Trust me, I go through it a lot. But at the same time, we have a magnificent power, man. Like our power is chastising us to make us stronger for what he about to do. Think about that. You know, I wasn't hurt by the government shutdown. You know, and you know, I done told my whole life story. But talking in code, I'm exhilarated by they do it. I said, shit, you had a demon come up to her. These niggas talking about some Obama is the one that fucked up the administration. Biden did all that. I'm an old man that got out of there and became a Freemason. Well, he's a 3rd degree Freemason, but with a black lodge. When they do that? Black and white though, huh? He joined the Prince Hall Masons. And I think they said he became an actor or some shit like that. Making he laughing in y'all fucking face. I was acting the whole time. Goofy ass niggas, man. And his son is gonna get acquitted. Right. And that nigga pardoned his son. Why would you think he would do that? Nepotism. Duh. Verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. A lot of people gonna die. And which I will say, watch, you gonna start seeing motherfuckers get robbed for their food. Like it's already been cases of that. Motherfuckers staking you out at the grocery store and rob you. That's why when I go to the grocery store, I break up my shop and I don't go to the grocery store like in one big lump. I go here, then here, you know what I mean? It says, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy them, and I will increase the famine upon you and will break your staff of bread. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's no food, although that's happening too. You know, you go to, look up and figure out what's going on with the farmers. Either they lose their farms or, the farms ain't yielding the crops that they normally do. So yeah, verse 17, so will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. Then the sword, you see, Esau, like I said again, they just went in the building in Chicago. So that sword is mobile, brother. I, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, have spoken it. And it's all based on judgment because you refuse to hearken to Yahweh or hearken on to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and come back. Like I've been seeing certain brothers' titles and say we basically been a broken record. We have sung the song. We've cried out. We've told the people. So at the end of the day, what words can't teach, adversity will. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Elohim like Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim. Across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, I thought they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in a land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord, willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharallah and Mawat Lababal.